Hello and welcome back, or at least I hope you've seen the two first episodes in this series. Maybe a little bit confusing, I hope you guys will be able to follow along, but it's episode 3 today in my circuit bending series, but it is the first part of a new pedal, so yes, it's a little bit weird. I'm doing them all as one, but first part in a particular pedal. Maybe I'll take them apart afterwards and make play series for each pedal. We'll see. Depends also on what you guys like. Anyway, if you don't know, in today's video, we're gonna take a Behringer pedal. We're gonna see if we can find some places in it to circuit bend. If you don't know what circuit bending is, and if you haven't seen the other two videos, quickly, circuit bending is when you just poke around in a circuit and you try to find different connections that lets the circuit do something that it's not technically supposed to do. For example, in audio, we use it to create weird sounds. In cameras and things like that, we do it to make glitchy effects on cameras so that they will make the picture look weird or wonky or something like that. Or at least most of the time it's weird and wonky. In today's video, we're gonna take a Behringer pedal that I have here in this box because someone stole the enclosures to my pedals, and that's why I'm doing this, because I need to rehouse them anyway. And so I was thinking I might as well just create these crazy weird pedals that are, you know, all over the place. And today we're gonna do the Behringer Ultra Distortion, or UD300. I have it here. Let's open it up and take a look. And hopefully this video will be even shorter than the last one, because I'm trying to make them... Okay, let's go. Okay, so you need your basic soldering gear, you know, the things that I've told you about in the other videos. Soldering station, solder, maybe flux, you know. You also need switches and different things like that. I have some small little buttons here, and over here I still have some of these switches. I have more and other switches as well that I will pick out as we go along, and I might even switch them out and go back and forth. We'll see. I'm gonna use a looper pedal as well, which I've told you about in the other videos. And if you've seen those, you don't need to hear me explain why, but if you haven't, you will know that making a little loop and playing through the pedal as you tweak it and go back and forth will save a lot of time and headache, because sometimes it can be really hard to know if you've actually found a mod or not, because some things are really subtle and some things are just crazy, and so having something to A/B it very quickly is a good idea. We're gonna use a 9-volt battery on this. When you circuit bend, you want to use batteries instead of plugged-in power. We're gonna use plugged-in power for the looper pedal though, because we are not gonna mess with that one. I'm gonna quickly create a little loop. I have a guitar as well, and yeah, I'm just gonna plug it in, start up the amp. You want to play the amp at as low volume as you can. You still want to be able to hear things, but if there is a weird popping sound or something weird, crazy, bypassing some sort of volume controller or something, you don't want to, you know, destroy your ears. Another thing that I haven't had in the other videos, but I hope it's gonna help me, I think it's gonna help, is I have a cup of coffee in my Halloween mug. Because if you've been subscribed for a while now, you know that even though it's not Halloween yet, here on this channel, it's always Halloween. So here we have the guitar. I don't know if you can hear it because the amp is really low. You might just be able to hear the acoustic sound of the guitar. Anyway, here we have the pedal. And we do have a switch. I don't know. That can become a problem. We might have to think about that when we do our mods, that we flick the switch back and forth. Because some mods might work with the switch in one position but not in the other. And so we might have to go back and forth a lot. So it might be hard to do this. I'm gonna put it in the down position, I think. When you do a loop for this, you don't have to think about like how you make loops when when you're making music, but think more about the fact that like having a bit of hard strumming, you know, something like that is a good idea, but also have some chords that you just let ring out. Because sometimes the mod isn't so much about how it affects the sound in itself, but how it affects maybe for example, the trail of the note. So the dying out part of the note will be maybe modulated in some way or cut off completely if you find some sort of like gated thing or something. And if everything is just for 2 minutes, you might miss those things unless you find something really, really gated that is cutting the signal. Anyway, you know what I mean. So think about that when you create a loop and not if it sounds nice. Or at least that's what I'm trying to think of. But I don't know. I'm gonna start. Okay, so there we have it. Now I can unplug my guitar and I can put it away. Which I should have done the other videos as well, because it was actually kind of annoying sitting there with the guitar in front of me. But anyway, okay, so what we do is we just flip this whole thing around so that we have the back side of the pedal. It also helps us with seeing like, okay, this is the input and that's the output going to the amp. I'm gonna try to center this up so that you guys see what I'm doing a little bit easier. Here we have a lot more parts than I think we had in the other ones, but they are all labeled. I didn't tell you this. If you're new here, it might be annoying, but basically, if you look real closely at these parts, you can see a number. So for example, here we have a D9 for this part, and the D is for diode, and the 9 is because it's the 9th. And for example, here we have an R44, and that's for resistor, and it's the 44th resistor in this circuit. So when I say I find a mod between, for example, and this is not a mod, I'm just randomly picking these, so keep that in mind. But when I say I found a mod between D9 and R37 here, I mean that if I connect a wire between them, something weird will happen, and I'll break that wire with a switch or something, because when every cable thing that we add, all the switches we add are off, I want the pedal to be stopped basically, or at least that's what I want for now. Maybe down the line I'll go, no, actually I want to keep these things in permanent. Okay, let's pick a color. The other two got yellow and green, and so let's see what we have. Here we have blue wires, it's gonna be good. So, there are different ways of doing this. I'm going back and forth, which I haven't really told you that much about this. In the last two videos, especially, maybe not so much in the first one, but I'm using alligator clippers and I'm just touching two parts. So for example, I'll hold it up here and see if something happens, which doesn't seem to have anything happening. But there, for example, I don't know if you can tell, but the signal got thinner and weaker. Sometimes you have to turn the pedal on and off or unplug the battery. If you think that you've broken the pedal, try turning it on and off and try unplugging the battery. I also sometimes use these. This is just a wire that I've connected between two nails. You know, the kind of nails you hammer into the wall. And the reason why I use these is because it's a little bit easier to just find connections. You know, it's like there, for example, we completely killed the pedal. And I think we turned it off as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna poke around like this, basically, and just there we have a leg, and here we have a leg, and just and once I've found something, I'll be back. Alright? It's gonna take a while, and it's gonna be kind of annoying for you to see me just sit around here fiddling with this, pointing and picking at things for hours. And I want to try to make the video shorter. So, see you in a bit. Okay, so I've found my first mod, and it's between this diode here. It's named D4. And this capacitor here, I think it says C30. It's in the middle here. Right there. It's a little bit hard for me to tell, but I think it says C30. It's a little on the crazy side, but you know, that's, you know, what I like. So I'm just gonna connect a wire at the first one, and it's on this underside of the quick dab there, and then the next wire, and it's on the upper side there, a quick dab. And then if these two wires touch, it should go crazy. It's like a weird octave fuzz thing, maybe a little bit too noisy or crazy, but I'm gonna add one of these momentary switches for now, and we'll see if maybe we switch it out for something else later down the line. I'm thinking maybe an actual foot switch is something that I would want for this, but I think, and you obviously don't have to agree, but I think that was kind of a cool sound. And I liked that it wasn't just noisy, but that it was a wall of sound, but you could still hear the actual effect of your playing, or the notes you're playing. Yeah. We'll have that there for now. So again, the underside of D4 to the top of C30. Yeah, I think it says the C30, but it's in the middle there, so you should be able to find it pretty easy. I also need to, before I forget, because I was very close to forgetting, I need to switch this button up. So that's cool. It works on both. Anyway, I'm gonna continue looking around and I'll be right back once I've hopefully found another mod. Okay, so I've found another one, and it's this here and this here. I hope you guys can hear that. So I'm gonna connect wires. And the first one goes to R8, it's up here, and it's an overside R8. And the next one goes to the underside of this one, and I can't say what this is. It's R19, I think, but as maybe you can tell, up there it's written, and through whatever is written, there's a little hole. The circuit board has all these kind of little holes all over, and it is unfortunately straight through there, so I can't actually tell you exactly what number that is. Sorry, I wish I could. Oh no. Ugh. I accidentally... There we go. I accidentally bridged those two connections there. Here we go. And if these two touch, we get this fuss thing. Or, it's not actually fuss, it sounds more like a metal zone or whatever they're called. But like, it's a little crazy. It's like a metal zone. It's like stupid metal zone. So let's see here. I think I'm gonna add one of these switches, just for fun. Okay, so what you do is you hold one up to one of the outer legs. It doesn't matter which outer leg, as long as it's one of the outer legs and not both. And then the next wire gets connected to the middle leg. So if I flick this, and then we can also try to see what happens if we press this one. Ooh, we can have both at the same time. But yeah, cool. And then obviously we have to flick this and see what happens. So in this position, the effect is... it's kind of weird. It's not the same thing. Yeah. I'll be right back once I've found a third one, maybe? We'll see. I might not actually find a third one. We'll see. Okay, so I've found another place. And it's here and here. So, let's add our wires. This is C25 up here. And that's the overside of it. And then here we have D7, and we need to go on the underside, like that. And then if we touch them, we get that weird, glitchy 8-bit fuss thing. And I don't know, what should we add? I think I'll add another switch. Just a regular one of these. So, here we have the switch now in place, and if I press it, I think that sounds pretty cool. And we almost forget, but don't forget to flick the switch to see what happens. I don't think this switch does anything. I'm gonna look for one more place before we end the video. Okay, I found one more, and I think it's kind of cool. I accidentally blew up the LED, so that's why I have a new one. And I put it on this side because it's easier to see. But I think this sounds pretty cool. So, we're gonna attach 2 wires between those 2 points. Now the first one up here is Se1. Oh, okay. You have to be careful with these sorts of things because you might touch something to something else. Yeah. And then the next one here is going to the middle leg on this T4 up here. And it's also one of those super fiddly connections, and I might actually have to switch out my tip for next video. I'm gonna think about that. And then we have these 2 wires, and if they touch, we get crazy sound. What should we use? Should we use a switch? Should we use... You know what? Actually, I picked this one out, so I think I'm gonna use this one. It's actually really easy to use one of these. You just need to connect 2 of the legs. So, a little bit of solder on the tip. Just hold one of the wires to where the middle leg. And you're gonna notice that when I say the middle leg, that's like everything. And then we do the same thing for the opposite side. So just one of the outer legs and the middle leg. Okay, now let's try this one. Yeah. Let's call it a day, I think. This is crazy enough. Whew, that was a little bit nerve-wracking, actually. I turned down the volume on the loop pedal and forgot that I did that. And then I was like, why did I all of a sudden lose all the volume? What happened? And since I blew up the LED because I accidentally touched one of these prongs to the side of one of the legs, it burned up. I saw a little bit of puff of smoke. That's why you will notice in between cuts that I put on extra. Before I had all of this exposed, and you don't need to have that much exposed. Actually, you just need the very tip. So I might go back and put on even more. We'll see. But anyway, you know, you learn, and that's a part of this as well. I might destroy the pedals, and then the series will end with that for that pedal. We'll see. But anyway, here it is now, and we have a bunch of switches. Don't care too much about what switches where and what I'm doing with them, because once we've decided that we have all the mods we want to have and that we're finished with the pedal, we'll go to enclosure it, and then we'll talk more about which switches we want and how we want the interaction with the pedal to actually be, because that's a big part of this. If you haven't seen the other ones, what I want from you is that you try this out yourself. If you don't have the, whatever this is called, it's called the UD300. Maybe you'll get it, maybe you'll poke around it just like I did in this video, and if you come up with something cool, talk to me. If you don't find anything cool, talk to me anyway. And if you try these points out that I show you, let me know what you think, and just we'll have a dialogue and we'll go back and forth, because I can't spend 14 hours straight just sitting here poking every combination ever. So it's a great thing for us to do together, and I think this is a really good way of learning things about pedals and stuff like that. So Circuit Bendit is cool and fun and awesome and great, and some other positive words, and I think we will just have fun with it, okay? So next time, this is relying on the fact that you guys will also join in. Next video on this pedal will be in a couple of weeks maybe, or something, we'll see. And so you'll have time to try to find the pedal, but don't forget to get it at second hand, and try to get it as low as possible, you know? These pedals are cheap, but second hand, they should be even cheaper. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble, and that's a sign that I should really go. So I'm gonna do that. But before I go, I just have to say thanks so much for watching. And yeah, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, regardless of how long you've been here, don't forget to like the video. That lets me know that you appreciate the fact that I am putting time into making these videos. But anyway, until next time, don't forget to stay awesome and cool, and go and circuit bend something. Just anything. It can be anything. Well, make sure it's a 9-volt battery, you know, DC, all of that good things, so you don't actually kill yourself. Don't mess around with a car battery, for example. Leave the car alone, and yeah, bye.